Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like you were built for more, but somehow you're still stuck in the same place? Not broken, not failing, just stuck. Like you're moving but not growing. Like life is happening to you instead of being shaped by you. If you've ever felt that, you're not alone. Millions of women feel it too. Every single day. Because the world told them, be quiet, be polite, be perfect, be everything for everyone, except yourself. But here's the truth. Most people won't say out loud, you don't become powerful by waiting, you don't become confident by hoping, and you definitely don't become the woman you're meant to be by living on autopilot. You change by choosing, you rise by mastering, you evolve by owning the small things that shape your life, every single day. And that's what this is about. This isn't just another feel-good talk. This isn't about hype or motivation that fades in 10 minutes. This is about your identity. Because who you are tomorrow starts with what you do today. You see the secret? It's not in the big dramatic changes. It's not in quitting your job, moving cities, or chasing some overnight success. It's in the daily habits, the small, quiet decisions, the ones nobody sees, the ones that feel easy to skip, the ones that separate the woman who wants a better life from the woman who builds one. And here's the kicker. You already have habits. But are they building you or breaking you? Are they pulling you closer to the woman you want to become, or silently stealing your power one day at a time? Most people never ask these questions, but the women who rise, the ones who walk into rooms and own them, the ones who live with confidence, clarity, and calm, they know something. Master your day, and you master your destiny. Because every habit you build is a vote for the woman you're becoming, a vote for strength, for peace, for freedom. So if you've ever wondered why life feels overwhelming, unbalanced, or directionless, this is why. It's not because you're not smart enough, or capable enough, or disciplined enough. It's because no one taught you that small habits create big transformations. But that changes today, because in this video, you'll discover 10 daily habits every woman must master. These aren't fluff, they aren't trends, they're real, they're powerful, and they are backed by psychology, behavior science, and real-life transformation stories. Each habit is simple, but the impact? Massive. And if you stick around until the end, you'll walk away not just with a list, but with the mindset, the truth, and the emotional fire to actually live them. Because here's your reward. By the end of this video, you won't just know what to do, you'll feel why you must do it. You'll feel that something shift inside, that quiet voice whispering, it's time to stop shrinking, time to stop doubting, time to stop apologizing for wanting more. Is your moment, not tomorrow, not next month, not someday when it's convenient. Because you've wasted enough time waiting to feel ready. You don't need permission, you don't need perfection, you just need to decide, I'm done living a version of life that doesn't feel like mine. These habits, they're not rules, they're not chores, they are keys. Keys that unlock your focus, your confidence, your peace, your power. And once you have them, no one can take them from you. So, if you're tired of starting over, if you're done letting fear make decisions for you, if you're ready to become the kind of woman who wakes up with purpose and ends each day proud of herself, then stay with this. Let these words hit different, not just in your ears, but in your heart. Because everything changes the moment you realize this. You are one decision away from a completely different life. And it starts with the first habit. You weren't born to play small. But somewhere along the way, you were taught to shrink, taught to keep the peace, to meet expectations, to put yourself last and call it love, to stay busy but never fulfilled. And the truth is, most women don't even realize what's happening, because it doesn't come all at once. It's quiet, slow, hidden in the day-to-day. It starts with ignoring your own needs. Then it becomes normal to silence your voice. Soon, your goals feel too far away, and your worth starts depending on how much you do for others. You smile when you're tired. You say yes when everything inside you screams no. You hold it all together, but inside, you're running on empty. This isn't weakness. This is survival mode, and it's where too many women are stuck right now. But here's the reality no one talks about. Survival is not living. Being busy is not the same as being aligned. Checking boxes doesn't mean you're fulfilled, and just because you're functioning doesn't mean you're thriving. Most women are so used to putting themselves last, they start to forget what they even wanted in the first place. You ask them what lights them up, they don't know. You ask them what they need, they hesitate. You ask them who they are, and they go quiet. Because somewhere along the way they stop choosing themselves. Not out of failure, but out of programming. We've been raised to believe our value comes from sacrifice, that being selfless makes us good, that doing it all without asking for help is strength. But what if that's the lie? What if strength is setting boundaries? What if love includes self-respect? What if success starts with knowing who you are, not just what you do? See, the trap is this. When you don't have strong daily habits that protect your mind, body, and energy, you drift. You don't collapse all at once. You slowly disconnect from your own life, from your joy, your clarity, your power. You wake up tired, even after sleeping. You lose patience with people you care about. You scroll for hours to numb the noise in your head. And when the day ends, you feel like you did everything, and nothing at all. That's what happens when life controls you, instead of the other way around. But you know what's even harder to accept? No one is coming to fix it. No one is going to hand you balance, or peace, or power. No one is going to knock on your door and remind you of your worth. That's your job. And it starts the moment you stop ignoring this truth. You are not meant to live by default. You are not here just to survive the week, answer messages, pay bills, and do it all again. You are here to build, to grow, to create a life that feels like yours, a life where you wake up feeling grounded, not rushed, clear, not confused, strong, not scattered. And the only way to build that life is by designing your days on purpose. That's the power of intentional habits. They pull you out of chaos and bring you back to clarity. They quiet the noise and strengthen your center. They remind you, every day, that your life is your responsibility, not in a heavy, pressured way, but in a freeing, powerful way. Because when you take responsibility, you also take back control. And here's the truth that's even deeper. Your habits are always building something. Every choice you make is casting a vote. The question is, for what? Are you building a life that reflects who you really are? Or are you keeping up an identity that was never truly yours? Because the biggest danger is living 10, 20, 30 years down a path that was never even meant for you. Don't let that be your story. Don't let fear of change keep you in a life that quietly drains you. Don't settle for just being strong enough to endure. Be strong enough to rise. Strong enough to say, this is not how my story ends. Your life doesn't shift all at once. It shifts the moment you stop waiting for permission and start moving with intention. Because you don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You need clarity. You need direction. You need habits that remind you, every single day, who you are becoming. That's how you stop feeling lost. That's how you reconnect with your power. That's how you start showing up. Not as the version of you that pleases everyone, but as the woman who leads herself. No apologies, no pretending, just truth and alignment. And once that shift begins, even just a little, everything around you begins to shift with it. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You don't need to feel ready. You need to show up, whether you feel like it or not. That's where real change begins. Because motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes like weather. Some days it lifts you. Other days it disappears without warning. And if your growth depends on waiting for motivation, you'll keep starting over. You'll keep breaking promises to yourself. You'll keep wondering why nothing ever sticks. But habits? Habits don't care how you feel. They don't wait for the perfect mood. They don't need a rush of energy. They work because they run deeper than emotion. They're automatic, anchored, rooted. They become part of who you are, not just what you do. And that's the key. Because the most powerful version of you doesn't need to fight every day to do the right thing. She builds systems that carry her even when she's tired. You can't always control your feelings. You can't always control your thoughts. But you can control your actions. And when you repeat those actions long enough, they begin to shape your mind, your identity, your reality. This is why the most successful, grounded, clear-minded women don't rely on hype. They rely on structure. They design their life so that success is the default, not the exception. It's not luck. It's not genetics. It's not that they're stronger, smarter, or more confident. They've simply mastered what most people ignore. Discipline beats desire. Consistency beats intensity. Habits beat motivation, every single time. You don't need to give 100% every day. You just need to stop giving up. Because the truth is, how you live your days is how you live your life. And most people waste years trying to feel ready before they begin. But the women who grow, they start where they are. Messy, imperfect, uncertain, but committed. They don't wait for clarity. They build it. They don't wait to believe in themselves. They act like the woman they want to become. Until one day, they look in the mirror and realize they are her. That's the quiet power of daily habits. No big announcement, no sudden breakthrough. Just quiet, steady transformation. Each morning you get up and follow through on one small promise. You build trust with yourself. Each evening you close the day with one intentional act. You create alignment. That trust becomes confidence. That alignment becomes momentum. And that momentum becomes unstoppable. Because when you stop depending on how you feel, you unlock a whole new level of freedom. You no longer ask, do I feel like doing this? You decide, this is who I am, so this is what I do. That identity shift changes everything. No more guilt for missing one day. No more shame for being off track. Because habits don't demand perfection. They ask for repetition. And every time you show up, you reinforce that belief. I am the kind of woman who honors her word, who does what she said she would, who chooses herself, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Not talent, not inspiration, but structure, systems, and the inner knowing that growth is a decision, not a feeling. And here's what happens when you live like that. You stop chasing motivation. You stop doubting your path. You stop waiting for the right time. Because your actions no longer depend on external energy. They flow from internal alignment. And that's where peace lives. Not in the highs of a good day, but in the rhythm of a life you're building on purpose. So if you've spent your life getting inspired but never following through, it's not your fault. You were taught to chase feelings. You were told that motivation would carry you. But now you know better. You don't need a spark. You need a system. You don't need another motivational quote. You need a routine that reminds you every day, this is who I'm becoming. This is where I'm headed. And nothing, not fear, not fatigue, not doubt, will stop me from showing up. Because that's how you build anything that lasts. Brick by brick, step by step, one habit at a time. And when those habits align with your purpose, there's nothing you can't rise through, nothing you can't overcome, nothing you can't create. Because you're no longer hoping to feel powerful. You're living like a woman who already is. The world will try to own your attention the moment you wake up. Before your feet touch the floor, something is already pulling at your energy. Notifications, messages, noise, expectations. And without even realizing it, you're in reaction mode. Your mind is racing, your breath is shallow, your thoughts are already scattered. But this is where everything starts to shift. With one choice, start your day in stillness. Before the world gets access to you, give yourself to yourself. Before the chaos begins, step into quiet. Not for an hour, not even 30 minutes. Just a few intentional moments. Moments that belong only to you. Because the first thing you do in the morning doesn't just start your day. It sets the tone for your mind. It trains your nervous system. It decides whether you'll live by design or by default. Stillness isn't about doing nothing. It's about creating space. Space to listen. Space to breathe. Space to remember who you are. Before the world tells you who to be. This habit might seem small, but psychologically it changes everything. When you begin your morning in silence, you tell your brain, I am not in a rush, I am not in danger, I am safe, I am grounded. That single message rewires your entire emotional state. Instead of being reactive all day, you become responsive. You choose your pace. You control your energy. You move with clarity instead of chaos. Because the truth is, your mind wakes up full of noise. Thoughts from yesterday, anxieties about tomorrow, to-do lists, regrets, fears, pressure. But when you sit in silence, even for just a few minutes, you interrupt that storm. You take back control. And in that quiet space, something powerful happens. You start to feel again. You start to hear your own inner voice, the one that gets drowned out by distraction. That voice isn't loud. It doesn't scream. It whispers. And only stillness can help you hear it. You don't need to be a monk. You don't need to meditate for an hour. This isn't about rules. It's about presence. You can sit on the edge of your bed, close your eyes, and take 5 deep breaths. You can step outside, feel the air on your skin, and just listen. You can journal 1 page. You can sip your coffee slowly, with no phone, no noise, no rush. The action doesn't matter as much as the intention. Stillness is a signal to your brain that you are in control, that you choose to begin with grace, not pressure. And from that place, your decisions change. You speak more gently. You listen more deeply. You move more purposefully. You stop chasing your day and start leading it. Most people roll out of bed and fall into stress before they even speak a word. They scroll, they react, they compare, they hurry. and then they wonder why the day feels heavy. But you can do it differently. You can reclaim your mornings. You can turn them into a ritual of power. Not because everything in your life is perfect, but because you are choosing to be present in the middle of it all. This is where confidence begins. Not in a mirror, not in an achievement, but in a quiet decision to return to yourself every morning. And here's the most beautiful part: stillness multiplies. The more you practice it, the deeper it gets. The more powerful you feel. Not loud power, not ego-driven force, but calm, steady, unshakable power. The kind that doesn't react to every trigger, the kind that doesn't chase noise, the kind that walks into any room, any situation, and remains rooted. Because a woman who knows how to be still is a woman who knows how to lead herself. And once you learn to begin each day from that place, everything else aligns more easily. The decisions feel clearer, the emotions feel lighter, the moments feel more meaningful. You no longer rush through your mornings trying to catch up with life. You wake up and meet the day on your terms, and you do it from a place of wholeness, because stillness isn't emptiness. It's full of truth, full of presence, full of quiet strength that no one can see, but you can feel in every breath. So if you've been starting your mornings in survival mode, this is your invitation to stop, to pause, to remember you don't owe your energy to the world the second you wake up. You owe it to yourself first, and even if you only have 5 minutes, use them, not to scroll, not to rush, but to return, back to your breath, back to your body, back to your center. That is where your power lives, and the more you return to it, the more unshakable you become. Your body is not just something you carry through life. It's where you live. It holds your energy, your strength, your story. And every single day, it speaks to you. Through tension, through fatigue, through movement, or the lack of it. When your mind feels heavy, when your thoughts get cloudy, when everything feels stuck, it's often not just mental, it's physical. Your body is holding on to stress that talking alone can't release. That's why movement is not about fitness. It's about freedom. You don't need to be a runner. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need a perfect routine or equipment. You just need to move. Because every time you move your body, you send a message to your brain. I am alive. I am strong. I am capable. That's how you begin to reset your energy. Not by forcing your mind to be positive, but by shifting your physical state first. When you feel stuck in your head, get into your body. Walk, stretch, dance, breathe. Even 10 minutes can create a wave of change inside you. This isn't about burning calories. It's about burning through the emotional weight that's been sitting on your chest. It's about reconnecting with your own rhythm, the one the world tried to silence. Because when you sit too long in one place, your body forgets its power. And when your body forgets, so does your mind. But motion rewrites the story. It says, I am not frozen. I am not defeated. I am moving forward, one step at a time. That small shift in your body begins to unlock something deeper. You stand taller. You breathe deeper. You think more clearly. You make decisions from strength instead of stress. There is a deep psychological link between physical movement and emotional regulation. You don't need a therapist's couch every time you feel overwhelmed. Sometimes what you need is movement. A brisk walk. A few squats in your room. Stretching your arms toward the ceiling, like you're claiming space in your own life. All of it counts. All of it matters. Because you're not just moving your limbs, you're moving your emotions. You're moving energy that would otherwise turn into anxiety, irritability, or burnout. You're not releasing tension for the sake of it. You're making space for clarity, peace, and power to return. And you don't need motivation to start. You just need to show up again and again until it becomes your new rhythm. Your body was built to move, and when you honor that, everything inside you begins to shift. Your posture changes. You stop collapsing inward. You start expanding, and that expansion reaches every area of your life. You speak with more certainty. You handle problems with a different kind of calm. You stop reacting and start responding. All because you moved your body. All because you gave yourself permission to reconnect with the strength that was already inside you. When you take care of your physical being, you're also telling your nervous system, I've got you. You're reminding yourself that no matter what happens outside of you, you can return to this powerful place within you. There is something sacred about sweating out the stress, about feeling your heartbeat rise and knowing you are alive. Not just existing, not just going through the motions, but truly alive. And that feeling, that shift from numbness to aliveness, is something you create. You don't wait for it. You choose it. You build it, day by day. No one else can do it for you. No one else can unlock that strength. Because it's your body, your temple, your vehicle for everything you want to become. When you move, you don't just take care of your body, you take back your power. You show yourself, and the world, that you are not a bystander in your own life. You are an active participant, a leader, a force. So no matter how busy the day gets, no matter how tired your mind feels, give yourself that gift, even if it's 5 minutes. Because every time you move, you return to strength, to clarity, to yourself. And a woman who stays connected to her body, stays connected to her truth. She walks differently. She carries herself with presence. She doesn't just survive the day. She moves through it like she owns it. Waking up with no direction is like stepping into a storm without shelter. You get pulled in every direction. Other people's plans become your plans. Their urgency becomes your emergency. And without even realizing it, your day doesn't feel like yours anymore. But it doesn't have to be that way. Before the day pulls at your time, your focus, your energy, you must claim it. And the simplest, most powerful way to do that is by setting 3 clear intentions. Not a long list, not a complicated plan. Just 3 things, 3 purposeful actions, 3 simple decisions, 3 quiet promises to yourself that will guide you, center you, and remind you who you are, no matter what the day brings. Because intention isn't about perfection, it's about direction. You can't control everything that happens around you, but you can choose how you respond. You can decide what matters most. And that decision begins before the noise begins. Your mind needs clarity. It needs structure. And when you wake up and immediately give it a focus, even in just a few words, you build inner peace before the world has a chance to create outer pressure. Setting intentions isn't just a productivity trick. It's a psychological anchor. It gives your brain something to hold on to, something to return to when distractions show up. Because distractions will come. Delays will come. People will need things from you. Life will happen. But when you know what you've chosen to focus on, you stop reacting. You start leading. These intentions don't have to be huge. They don't need to impress anyone. They just need to mean something to you. Maybe today your intention is, I will speak kindly to myself. Or I will finish one thing I've been avoiding. Or I will protect my peace no matter what. Whatever they are, they act as quiet guides throughout the day. And the moment your energy starts to scatter, you remember. This is what I chose. This is what matters. This is where I bring my focus back. This one habit can change how you feel from the inside out. Because most of the overwhelm we experience doesn't come from doing too much. It comes from doing too much without direction. No clarity, no boundaries, no sense of what really matters. But when you set those 3 intentions, you begin to shift out of autopilot. You stop letting the day control you. You begin to create instead of just consume. You choose how you move, instead of getting pulled into what everyone else wants from you. That simple choice builds confidence. You start trusting yourself more. You feel less scattered, less reactive, less drained. Because you're not just surviving another busy day, you're shaping it. One moment at a time. It also changes how you end your day. You don't lie in bed wondering what you even accomplished. You don't feel like the hours slip through your fingers. You look back and say, yes, I followed through. I showed up. I stayed aligned. That's where fulfillment lives. Not in doing everything, but in doing the right things. The things that align with your values, your priorities, your deeper purpose. Setting intentions also strengthens your self-awareness. You begin to notice your patterns. You recognize what drains you, what fuels you, what keeps you centered. It helps you stop living the same day on repeat and start living with more power, more choice, more presence. 3 intentions. They might sound small, but they build a habit of showing up on purpose instead of just out of habit. Over time, this one practice will change how you think. You'll stop asking, what do I need to get done? And start asking, who am I becoming today? Because you're not just managing tasks. You're creating identity. You're building character. You're living in alignment with the woman you know you're meant to be. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice. And that choice starts each morning. In the quiet. Before the rush. With a simple decision to lead your day. Instead of letting it lead you. So write them down. Say them out loud. Hold them in your heart. Whatever way you choose to begin with purpose. Because when you give your mind direction, you give your life momentum. And when you give your life momentum, there's no limit to what you can create. The way you speak to yourself becomes the way you experience your life. Every thought, every word, every silent comment you make in your own mind, it adds up. It builds the inner world you walk around with. Even when no one else can hear it. Most women are kinder to others than they are to themselves. They encourage everyone else, they give love, support, compassion. But when it comes to their own reflection, the voice becomes sharp, critical, harsh. And that voice, it becomes familiar, so familiar that it feels normal. But it's not, because when your self-talk is filled with judgment, doubt, and shame, you don't grow. You shrink. You start second-guessing your choices. You hold back your ideas. You hide your real self behind masks of perfection. Not because you lack talent, not because you aren't capable, but because your own inner voice is the first one that told you, you're not enough. You can't build a powerful life with a voice inside that constantly tears you down. Words are not just sound, they are belief in motion. And when repeated enough, they become your identity. That's why this habit is not optional. It's essential. You must learn to speak to yourself like someone you deeply care about. Not in a fake, forced way, but in a way that honors your growth. Because kindness is not weakness. It's strength. It takes strength to unlearn the habit of self-criticism, to replace it with something more honest, more empowering, more true. You are not your mistakes. You are not your lowest moment. You are not the voice in your head that tells you you're falling behind. You are the one who gets back up, the one who learns, the one who keeps moving, even when it's hard. And you deserve to be reminded of that, every day. Your internal dialogue should reflect the woman you're becoming, not the fears you're still letting go of. Start small. Catch the words you whisper to yourself in hard moments. Would you say them to a friend? Would you speak that way to someone you love? If not, it doesn't belong in your mind. This doesn't mean ignoring what needs to be improved. It means correcting without cruelty. It means guiding yourself without punishment. It means creating a voice inside that builds, not breaks, because your mind is listening. Your nervous system is responding. Your heart is either healing or hurting from what you say to yourself. And over time, those words shape everything. How you carry yourself, how you face challenges, how you recover from setbacks, how much joy you're able to receive, how much love you allow in. You teach the world how to treat you by how you treat yourself. So if your inner voice is rooted in pressure, perfectionism, and self-blame, it's time to rewrite the script. Start with this: I'm doing my best, and my best is enough. I am growing. I am learning. I am allowed to take up space. I don't need to be perfect to be worthy. Speak these words often, not just when everything is going well, especially when it isn't, especially when you've fallen, especially when your confidence is low. That's when kindness matters most, because shame never created change. Only love can do that. Love in your voice, love in your thoughts, love in the way you talk to yourself when no one is watching. Let that voice become your anchor. Let it become your home. Let it be the place you return to when life feels overwhelming. You don't need to become someone else to be kind to yourself. You just need to remember who you were before the world convinced you to doubt yourself. That girl, she's still inside, and she's listening. She's waiting for you to speak life into her again, to say, you matter, to say you've come so far, to say, I'm proud of you. Because you don't just become strong by doing more. You become strong by healing the way you speak inside. And when that voice changes, everything changes. You walk lighter, you breathe deeper. You stop apologizing for your presence. You begin to stand in your truth, not because the world gave you permission, but because you gave it to yourself. This is how you build unshakable confidence, not through outside validation, but through the power of your own voice. And that voice, it can become your greatest source of courage, your deepest source of peace, your quiet, unstoppable reminder. I am enough, just as I am, and I am becoming more every day. Your energy is your power. It's the invisible force behind your focus, your mood, your decisions, and your presence. You feel it when it's strong, calm, steady, clear, and you feel it when it's low, drained, distracted, reactive. But here's what most people don't realize. You are not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because you're doing too much of what drains you, and not enough of what fills you. You've been giving your energy to things that don't grow you, to people who don't value it, to conversations that don't feed your peace, to expectations that were never yours to carry. And slowly, day by day, you begin to feel heavy, not just in your body, but in your soul. That's why protecting your energy is not selfish, it's survival. It's strategy, it's sacred. When you don't guard your energy, everything becomes a weight. Every message feels urgent. Every request feels like pressure. Every situation pulls you in, even when your heart says no. You can't lead your life if you're constantly giving your power away. You can't create peace if you're always absorbing chaos. So you have to draw a line A quiet, firm line that says, my energy is not free. It's not for everyone. And it's not endless. Start by paying attention to how you feel after every interaction. Notice what leaves you feeling full and what leaves you feeling smaller. There are people who light you up, keep them close. There are people who dim your fire, love them from a distance. You don't owe constant access to anyone. You don't have to be available all the time to be worthy. You are allowed to protect your space, even if it disappoints others. Because the more you respect your energy, the more others will learn to respect it too. And this isn't just about boundaries with people. It's also about the choices you make. Protect your energy from comparison, from saying yes when you mean no, from trying to please everyone at the cost of losing yourself. You don't have to prove your value through exhaustion. Rest is not laziness. Silence is not weakness. And walking away from what drains you is not quitting. It's wisdom. The strongest people are not the ones who carry the most. They're the ones who know what's worth carrying. You weren't created to absorb every problem, to fix every situation, to be everything for everyone. You were created to shine, to stand tall in your purpose, to live fully, not just function. But that kind of life only grows when your energy is protected. So check in with yourself often. Ask, what am I holding that doesn't belong to me? Where am I leaking energy? What needs to be released? It might be a toxic relationship. It might be a draining habit. It might be a belief that tells you rest is weakness. Whatever it is, you have the right and the responsibility to let it go. Because when your energy is scattered, you lose your center. You stop hearing your own voice. You start reacting instead of responding. And that chaos spreads into every part of your life. But when your energy is protected, you walk with peace. You think clearly. You choose better. You become magnetic. Not because you're doing more, but because you're fully present in what you choose to do. This is how you take your power back. Not through force, but through intention. You choose where your time goes. You choose what conversations you allow. You choose who gets access to your thoughts, your heart, your space. And that choice changes everything. It frees you from guilt. It silences the noise. It brings you back to what matters. Because not every fight deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves a response. Not every opportunity is aligned with your purpose. You don't need to chase everything. You just need to protect what fuels you. And when you do, your energy begins to rebuild. You feel lighter. You feel stronger. You start living from the inside out, not the outside in. So today, remind yourself of this truth. You are not here to be consumed. You are here to create, to lead, to rise. And that begins by protecting the one thing no one can replace, your energy. Success doesn't come from one big action. It's built on small habits, repeated every day, especially when no one's watching. That's where real transformation lives. Let's talk about 5 more habits that turn ordinary days into a powerful life. Habit 6. Make decisions from vision, not emotion. Life will always give you reasons to react, but reaction is rooted in impulse. Vision is rooted in intention. Emotions are temporary. Vision is long-term. When you live only by how you feel in the moment, you get pulled in every direction. One minute, you're on fire with motivation. The next, you're doubting everything. But when you act from vision, you make choices your future self will thank you for. You stop chasing short-term comfort and start building long-term peace. Ask yourself often, does this align with the woman I'm becoming? That one question will silence noise. It will center you. It will lead you through pressure, distraction, and uncertainty. Don't let emotion control your direction. Let your vision lead. Let your purpose speak louder than your mood. Because power doesn't come from reacting fast. It comes from responding with clarity. Habit 7. Master the art of silence. Not everything needs your voice. Not every conflict needs your opinion. Silence is not emptiness, it's discipline. In a world that rewards noise, silence becomes a superpower. It gives you space to reflect instead of react. It helps you observe instead of absorb. It teaches you to respond from wisdom, not wounds. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't have to defend your choices to people who don't carry your burdens. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. Silence protects your peace. Silence restores your energy. Silence reveals who is really listening and who only came to judge. The strongest people don't speak the most. They speak with intention. And when they do, people listen because their words aren't just noise, they're weight. Habit 8. Clean your environment to clear your mind. Your surroundings shape your state. What you see daily becomes what you feel. Clutter outside creates confusion inside. You can't think clearly when everything around you screams chaos. You can't dream boldly when your space feels heavy. Create a place that supports your peace. Remove what no longer serves. Let go of what carries old energy, old memories, or old versions of you. You don't need a perfect home. You need a peaceful one. Even 5 minutes of organizing can shift your entire mood. Clean your space like it's sacred, because it is. It holds your energy. It reflects your priorities. It reminds you that your environment can either hold you back or lift you higher. Habit 9. Learn something new every day. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It's built on curiosity. It's built on hunger. You don't need a classroom to grow. Every day is your teacher, if you're paying attention. Read a few pages. Listen to someone wiser. Ask better questions. Study your own behavior. When you stop learning, you stop leading. The mind grows dull when it stops being stretched. You were born to expand, in wisdom, in thought, in strength. Even a small lesson today can become the breakthrough tomorrow. Keep learning. Not for anyone else. For the woman you promised yourself you'd become. Habit 10. End the day with gratitude, not guilt. Most people end their days replaying what they didn't do, what they missed, what went wrong. They fall asleep under a blanket of guilt. But guilt is not growth, and shame doesn't lead to change. Gratitude does. No matter how messy the day was, find something to thank life for. Find a win, even if it's small. You showed up, you tried, you kept going. That's enough. Gratitude is not about ignoring pain. It's about refusing to let pain have the last word. Close your day with kindness, not criticism. Remind yourself, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm doing the best I can. Because how you end the day becomes how you start the next. Let gratitude soften the pressure. Let it build a bridge to tomorrow. Let it remind you that even in struggle there is something beautiful rising. These habits are not about doing more. They're about living better. They're about rising with intention, not reacting to life as it comes. You don't need to be perfect with any of them. You just need to start. Because powerful women are not born. They're built, one decision at a time, one thought at a time, one habit at a time. You were never meant to just survive life. You were meant to shape it, with strength, grace, and unshakable belief. And yet somewhere along the way you started shrinking. You began questioning your worth. You silenced your voice. You carried weight that wasn't yours to hold. You forgot how powerful you truly are. But today is not the day to stay hidden. Today is the day you return to yourself. Because this life, this one right here, is not a rehearsal. You don't get to restart it later when you feel more ready. You get to rise now, right in the middle of the mess, right in the middle of the noise. Waiting for the perfect moment is just another form of fear in disguise. It keeps you stuck. It steals your time. It convinces you to stay quiet when your soul is begging you to speak. You don't need anyone's permission to grow. You don't need outside approval to evolve. You don't need the crowd to clap for you before you take your next step. Because truth is, no one will fully understand the fire inside you. No one else hears the whispers of your future the way you do. No one else was given your exact vision, and that's the point. You were given that dream for a reason, and you're here right now being reminded of it again, because something inside you still believes. There is a version of you that's bold. She's not afraid to say no. She doesn't beg for love, she attracts it. She doesn't wait to be chosen. She chooses herself. She shows up when it's hard. She keeps going when it's quiet. She moves forward even when no one notices. And the only thing standing between where you are now and that version of you is a decision, a choice to stop settling, a choice to stop hiding, a choice to stop letting fear speak louder than your faith. It's time to stop giving your power away to the past, to old versions of yourself, to things you've outgrown but keep holding on to because they feel familiar. Comfort is not the goal. Growth is. Growth will stretch you. It will require sacrifice. It will test your patience and ask for your consistency, but it will also reward you in ways nothing else can. With clarity, with confidence, with freedom. You are not made to repeat the same cycle forever. You are not stuck. You're just scared to move. But fear is not a sign to stop. It's a signal that something meaningful is ahead. The moment you stop fighting for your limits is the moment you start discovering your strength. You can rise above what tried to break you. You can build a life that reflects your value, not your wounds. You can rewrite your story, even if it started in pain. Every great woman you admire began with uncertainty, but she made a decision to move anyway. And now, it's your turn. No more playing small just to make others comfortable. No more apologizing for wanting more. No more shrinking to fit into places you've outgrown. You don't have to fix everything before you step forward. You just have to believe you're worth the effort it takes to grow. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late. You are becoming. And becoming takes time. It takes patience. It takes persistence, and it takes a quiet kind of courage that few will see, but you will feel it. It shows up in the moment you choose discipline over distraction, in the instant you stay committed even when it's lonely, in the decision to trust yourself again, even after setbacks. That's the power building within you. That's the life pulling you forward. So stop looking backward for answers. Stop doubting what you feel deeply in your heart. The woman you're meant to be isn't found in the opinions of others. She's found in your choices, every single day. You build her when you rise early, when you set boundaries. When you refuse to quit on your growth, you meet her in the mirror after hard days, and you whisper, "I'm still here. I'm not done yet." Because you're not. You haven't come this far to stay the same. You've come this far to break through, to level up, to stand in rooms that once intimidated you and realize you belong here. Let this be the moment you stop doubting and start becoming. Not someday, now. This moment is not the end, it's a beginning. The kind that doesn't come with fireworks or loud applause, but the kind that shifts something deep inside you. You don't need another reminder of what's wrong. You need to remember what's right with you, what's powerful, what's unshaken, what's quietly waiting to be unleashed. You are not a mistake. You are not random. You are not here by accident. There is a reason your heart keeps beating despite the pain. There is a reason your spirit never gave up, even when your mind tried to. There is a reason you felt something stir while listening to this, because truth always awakens what was never dead, only sleeping. You've been through enough to break 10 people, and yet you're still standing. You've carried more than most will ever know. But you still show up. You still care. You still believe there's more waiting for you, and you're right. There is more. More peace, more growth, more strength you haven't touched yet, more versions of yourself you haven't even met. You don't need to fix everything overnight. You don't need to become the perfect woman to start living with purpose. You just need to stop abandoning yourself. Stop pushing your own needs to the side. Stop pretending to be fine when you're tired of pretending. You can be soft and strong. You can be kind and assertive. You can be healing and powerful at the same time. Because real strength isn't loud. It's in the way you rise after being knocked down. It's in the way you still love after being hurt. It's in the way you refuse to quit, even with tears in your eyes. This journey you're on, it won't always be easy. Some days you'll feel like you're walking alone. Some days your confidence will shake. But on those days, remember this: progress isn't always visible. Sometimes it looks like showing up tired. Sometimes it looks like setting a small boundary. Sometimes it looks like saying no when your whole life you were trained to say yes. That's growth. That's you reclaiming your power. That's you becoming more of who you were always meant to be. And every time you do something that honors your soul, you break another piece of the cycle that kept you stuck. Every time you rise, you tell the world, "I will not be defined by what tried to destroy me. I will be known by how I rebuilt myself." You don't have to hustle for your worth. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to prove your value to anyone who can't see it. Your value was never tied to how much you do. It's found in who you are, when everything is stripped away, when it's quiet, when no one's watching, when it's just you, facing your reflection with honesty. Can you look at yourself and say, "I'm proud of who I'm becoming," not because everything is perfect, but because you kept going? That's what matters. And the world doesn't need another woman trying to be someone else. It needs you, fully you, unapologetically, bravely, deeply. The kind of woman who doesn't let fear have the final word. The kind of woman who doesn't shrink when she's doubted. The kind of woman who leads with purpose, even if her hands shake. That kind of woman is already inside you. She's not far away. She's not a fantasy. She's you, when you decide to stop waiting and start becoming. No more holding back. No more settling for half joy, half love, half life. No more watching others rise while you sit in silence, wondering if you're enough. You are enough. You are capable. You are worthy of the life you dream about, not someday but now. So take a breath. Feel the strength rising in your chest, and step forward, not because it's easy, but because it's yours. The path is yours. The growth is yours. The power is yours. Walk with your head high. Speak with conviction. Live like your life matters, because it does, every hour, every choice, every breath. Let this be the day you choose yourself. Let this be the day you stop dimming your light. Let this be the day you say, "I was born for more." And I won't wait another moment to start living like it.